All right, everybody, welcome back to another professional interview in the Parks and Recreation interview series. Today, I've got Erin Roth, a newly minted last name. Erin, how are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I've known you as Erin Jones for a while, and so I still have to think about when I see Erin Roth, I'm like,
I still say that. People ask what my name, and I'm like, Erin Jones Roth.
yeah. Well, like, I forget what. Maybe it was on Instagram. I don't remember. Like, I came across. I'm like, who is this? Oh, I do know who it is. Uh, tell us where you work. What's your title? A little bit about what you do. Where are you
Sure.
now?
So currently, I am the president and CEO of the Telford Community Center YMCA in Richmond, Kentucky.
And how long have you been there?
I started here at this particular Y September of 2019, but before that, I did work for various Ys for about 12 years.
Okay. And I want to come back to that. But first, tell us about where you're originally from, because I know you're generally from that central Kentucky area.
So I am originally from Russell, Kentucky, which is northeastern Kentucky. It's right where Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky meet.
And is so from there, you graduated high school from there?
Yes.
Okay, and then where did you go afterwards for your education?
So from there, I went to Transylvania University, which is a small liberal arts school in Lexington, Kentucky. And from there, I just stayed in central Kentucky. My senior year, I had to do an internship. And I had two different options. I had the HIT Center, which I did one. And then the second one, my mentor said, well, how about the Y? And I'm like, okay. Growing up at the Ashland Y, my best friend was on the swim team, and her mom was also the aquatic director. So she and I were always running around the Y and thought we were in charge. And so when they mentioned the Y, I thought, you know what, that might be something I would be interested in.
Yeah.
So I did my internship at the Beaumont Y in Lexington, Kentucky, and did that first semester, fell in love with it, drank the Y Kool-Aid, as they say. From there, I worked 2 days a week when I was still in school, worked part-time on the wellness floor, and again realized that this really was something for me. So I decided to become a certified group exercise instructor and personal trainer, did that on the side, and did that through school. And once I graduated in May of 2005, I stayed on at the Y, worked in various roles, worked part-time as much as I could without being full-time. And luckily, about a year after that, a full-time wellness director position opened at the Beaumont Y. And that's one of the largest Ys in Kentucky. It's about 20,000 members.
Oh, dang.
So from there, I was able to use my degree of exercise science. So that was a great fit for me. I oversaw group exercise instructors, personal trainers, active older adult programming. From there, I did that for about 5 years and realized, yes, I love health and wellness, but I'm in this for the long haul and I want to be involved in the why more. So from there, I added different things to my plate. So I took some interest in youth sports and dabbled in that, a little bit of childcare and then aquatics.
Mhm.
And then I decided I need to do more. So I was a little bit of a, I guess you could say, late bloomer. I decided I want to further my career. I'm going to get my master's. So at that point, I researched programs and decided to go to EKU with the Recreation and Park Administration program. Loved it. And at the same time, when I started graduate school, and keep in mind, I had been out of undergrad for 11 years, so that's a little bit of a challenge there.
Sure.
We had a new Y opening in central Kentucky, and so I applied for that position
Hmm.
and was able to get the associate executive director position. So that was the second in command, more of the operations director. So I always like to say at the time the executive director was the fundraiser and out in the community, and I took care of the house.
Sure.
I took care of the house, the administration piece, and did that for a couple years. Unfortunately, at the end of my 2 years there, that Y was not performing as well as they wanted. So my position was eliminated, and I went to for-profit fitness for about 9 months. It wasn't for me, and I was missing the why, and just being connected to members in the community. And luckily, this position of the CEO in Richmond became open, and I interviewed for it, and it has been a great fit for me so far.
So, you're like giving me softballs because you're kind of leading me down the exact questions I want to ask. So, tell us a little bit more about what you do now and what that position entails.
Well, that is a good question. So my position is different today due to COVID. So
Yeah.
pre-COVID, I was the person that was out in the community making connections. I'm also a chamber ambassador for the Richmond Chamber. So just getting out, meeting different people in the community, how we can connect with the Y in different partnerships, fundraising. With COVID-19, that's changed quite a bit because you obviously can't be out in the community as much. And there's so many policies and procedures that you have to follow to be open with COVID. And so today, and really since COVID, my job has turned to more operational, being here, making sure we have enough staff, we're 6 feet apart, more of the operational side. But hopefully in the near future, I can get back to doing a little bit more of that community piece.
Okay. Something that crossed my mind as we were talking is you talked about you had a undergraduate degree in exercise science, and then you went back for your master's degree in recreation and park. Um, what are some of the courses or some of the experiences you had in each of those that really helped you as you found your footing as a professional in your career path?
For undergraduate, I would say honestly, Lifetime Fitness and Wellness was the course that changed my career path. When I started at Transy, I was actually a business major that was going to go into hotel restaurant tourism. And at Transy, I was almost halfway through the program, and we have to take Lifetime Fitness and Wellness at Transy as an elective. And I took that class and fell in love with it because I grew up as a ballet dancer and have always been active all my life. And I really felt like that was the place for me, and that was where I needed to be. And so I changed my career path. Still kind of have the tourism piece of it from HRT, but changing to that exercise science was a really good fit for me. And then I would say on the recreation side, definitely the business courses that we took
Hmm.
and team building, different things like that. Those are things that we use every single day.
Sure. Um, so so you talked about, you drank the Y Kool-Aid, so to speak. Tell us some of the things beyond like the duties you have, right? Tell us some of the things you like about the job and some of the challenges that you think that you have that to be aware of. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
for future folks,
Well, everything's perfect. We never have any issues.
right? If only.
I really, for me, it's the people. I love being in a building and having an open door and members stopping by and saying hello or how are you. It's always great for members to tell their stories. One of my favorite Y stories at the Beaumont branch, we had a kids triathlon. First 2 to 3 years, we had 20 or 30 kids. The last year I held it, we got close to 160 participants. So kids ages 6 to 14 in different groups, doing different things. One of the 6-year-olds was having a hard time, and I believe was the last kid on the course.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, we can't call it. We have to wait for this last kiddo to come through. And so the older brother had already finished, runs all the way back out to the course, gets his sister, runs back with her, and they run through the finish line holding hands. And for me, it's little moments like that you might have a frustrating day and something's happened, it snowed or the fire alarm's going off, but little moments like that just make your heart smile is what
Yeah.
makes it all worthwhile. Or you have that member that comes in and says, when I came in here, I was on blood pressure medicine and just not healthy. And thanks to you all for being here, I've been able to take group exercise classes. I can swim. You have a place for my child to stay while I'm working out. It's not just about losing weight, but being able to be off medicine and their blood pressure is better. It's great to hear.
Going back to that lifetime wellness aspect of it, right?
Yes, exactly.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced where you're at, or some of the things that overall, as far as working with the community in your position?
I would say the hardest thing is customer service. We always want to make sure that we do our best and we're providing the best service.
Hmm.
But sometimes, just not handling complaints, but you hear things about the wine. It's disheartening. It's upsetting. And how do you listen to that feedback? And how do you make sure that you're not taking it personally and negatively? And how can you turn that situation around and learn from it and help the wine grow?
Sure. No, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. It's because I think a lot of us in whatever facet we face some of those criticisms, and it's one of those things that to handle it with grace is, I think, a good way to put it. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to something fun. Tell us what you do for fun, for recreation stuff.
I love to read, so I read all the time. I like to be active. I don't really run anymore, but I take Pilates classes. I do spinning, just being outside with my husband, the dog, and the kiddo, and just having fun. Like to have fun.
Tell us more about this dog that you have, this
Cherry
instantly
Lynn.
famous dog.
Cherry Lynn is a little bit of a diva. She is a 8-year-old Boston Terrier rescue. She has sweaters and different clothing items that she likes to model. She's super sweet, but she's a little dramatic. During the snow the other day, I don't know if you saw my picture, she did climb up on the windowsill and she would not come down from the windowsill. So I had to go back inside and get coat and boots and everything to go rescue the dog. But she keeps us entertained for sure.
Absolutely. Um, so my next question would kind of a similar line of thought is, if you were not doing what you're doing for your job, if you could do your dream, what is your dream job? Or if you could do anything you wanted for a job, what would it be?
I think I would be a librarian because I love books and I can read all day and test books before they even go out.
Oh, there you go. I don't know if I've ever heard somebody say librarian, but that's a real good answer.
Yeah, I love to read.
I love libraries. Like,
Yeah, and the books, they smell good. They're fun
yeah,
to touch. My
yeah,
husband gets after me for not having a Kindle. I don't want any part of that. Give me a
yeah,
book.
yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. The physical aspect, and turning the pages, and I don't know.
Yes.
I like those old community libraries that kind of have a little bit of a musty smell.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
they're the
I,
best.
it's got a good vibe to it. Before the last thing I have is, I wanted to ask, what kind of advice or tidbits would you offer folks that are looking to go into a similar career path that you have chosen?
My piece of advice that I always tell people, even if your program does not require it, I highly encourage you to do an internship. And if possible, even multiple internships. It's a good way to dabble in different pieces of the industry and to figure out really what you like and what you want to do. And then my second piece of advice would be find something that you love. There are going to be times and it's going to be frustrating, but if you truly love something, it makes it so much easier to push through it and it makes it worthwhile.
Awesome. And I wholeheartedly agree with both of those. I think the more experiences and the diversity of experiences, right? I think of all the different jobs I've had to get to me where I'm at. It's a little bit humorous, but sometimes not, right?
Yeah,
Um, Miss Erin Jones Roth, thank you so much for
you're
taking your
welcome.
time today. And if you need anything, you surely let me know.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.